Give me a break from all this bullshit. Give me a break from all this bullshit. Give me a break. Give me a break. Give me a break from all this bullshit. Give me a break from all this bullshit. Give me a break from all this bullshit. Give me a break. Give me a break. 2 racks on new shoes. Why the fuck I do that? Tell me why the fuck do I do that? 2 racks on some Gucci shoes. Why the fuck do I do that? Tell me why the fuck I do that? Who's that with you in a room? Why the fuck do you do that? Tell me why the fuck do you do that? Girl, you know that I'ma die real soon. Why the fuck do you do that? Tell me why the fuck do you do that?
Hello everyone. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time you're at right now. After making my WrestleMania 39 video a year ago, I planned to make a praise video for Bray Wyatt. To this day, I still have the unfinished draft of the original version. Unfortunately, we lost Windham Lawrence Rotunda, the man behind the character, before said version was completed. As a result, the original version was scrapped, a new script was made, and the video became a tribute to his memory. But that wasn't the first time I made a tribute video for him. I made one back in 2021 when he was still alive, but it was more of a slideshow than an actual tribute. So this video is technically the second tribute I made for Windham. Looking back at the first tribute video, I was a bit dissatisfied with how it turned out for one reason only. Like many of my videos, my lines are more audible on one side than the other. So, here I am, a year later with another video dedicated to the late Windham Rotunda. He was in many ways a remarkable human being. He was a man who had his highs as well as his lows. A man who went by different monikers: Duke Rotundo, Axel Mulligan, Husky Harris, Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, and finally, himself. From kicking ass in the ring to making time for his fans, he was someone you'd want to be friends with. As someone who never met Windham and wished he could have, I say this from the heart. And I would like to share with you the fond memories I had watching him. I don't remember exactly when I was intrigued by his character, but from what I do remember, I believe it all started back during the beginning of the COVID era, or more specifically, during his feud with John Cena close to WrestleMania 36. Bray Wyatt challenged him to a Firefly Funhouse match at the event, which Cena accepted. I knew a little bit about his new character, The Fiend, beforehand, so I wasn't confused when this happened. I remember one time I typed Bray Wyatt on the internet and I saw pictures of his masked persona for the first time. And I was like, who is that guy? Thankfully, I was already intrigued by The Fiend when his feud with Cena began. And I would love to share more about my feelings on the match hopefully sometime soon. And with that, Bray Wyatt made me love wrestling again, and I have rooted for him since. I relate to his character in ways I never imagined. I consider myself creative and imaginative. I like dark stuff, though not everything like that, and I am in a never-ending battle with my inner demons. After that, he feuded with Braun Strowman, first at Money in the Bank, then in a Wyatt Swamp Fight match at the horror show at Extreme Rules, and finally, at SummerSlam. And I'm very glad WWE never went out of their way to cast him aside in favor of the true most overhyped, overvalued, overprivileged WWE superstar in existence. I'm very glad that never happened. All the happy memories I made watching Bray Wyatt on screen, only for Roman Disgrace to come into the picture and burn them all to the ground. He held the Universal Championship hostage after The Fiend held it for only a week. Why oh why? The stooges behind it all said fuck you, that's why. Bray's final feud was with Randy Orton during his run as The Fiend. It was nothing short of insulting, not just to Windham, but to every single person around the world who ever felt any kind of emotional attachment to his character. After that, he disappeared for a while and I was pretty much bummed out. But for a time, I was still hopeful that he could recover from what could be considered by many to be the final nail in the Fiend's coffin. Even after everything he'd been through, I had faith that the character would be back better than ever and things would go back to the way they used to be. Back when the world made sense. But I took that for granted. On July 31st, 2021, he was released from WWE. The day we had to say goodbye to Bray for the first time. That was the point in my life where I had lost all hope. It was like I couldn't see or find a way out. Windham led the way, and without him, it was like I was drowning in a never-ending whirlpool of despair. I didn't realize how much his characters connected with me on a personal level until I saw them all torn to shreds and their accomplishments undone. The way he was done dirty by the culprits is the reason why I despise Goldberg, Roman Reigns, and Randy Orton and everything they stand for. I refuse to believe he would return to WWE after his release. Can you imagine putting all your heart and soul into your character only to get screwed over by God knows what until you get to the point that enough is enough already? Our tears should have ended there. But little do we know, we'd have to say goodbye to him again in a way we never expected. But I'll get to that soon enough. 1 year later, I decided to watch Extreme Rules. I watched it until the end when a miracle happened. I wanted to cry so bad when he returned, but no matter how many times I asked God to let me, I couldn't. My favorite wrestler of all time made his grand return to WWE, the day I never thought we'd get to see. On the October 14th episode of SmackDown, he would cut the following promo.
I don't know if y'all can read this on me, but I'm incredibly grateful, and I'm really nervous to be here, but I never thought this would happen. And this right here, this is just me, okay? You know, this is a version of me that I've never got to introduce to you guys before. This is just me being me, genuine me for the first time. And I just want to share with you, you know, this past year in my life, I lost a lot of things. I lost my career. I love you too. I lost my career. I lost my self-confidence. I lost two people who were very close to me. And I lost my way. And I got to a point where I thought that everything that I'd ever done here or otherwise, I thought it was all meaningless. Nothing I ever did has mattered to anyone. And I was wrong. I was wrong. I can sit here right now today and I can look all of you in the eyes and I can say that you were there when I was weak, when I was vulnerable, when I was down. So I just wanted to say thank you. You all saved my life. You wouldn't let me alone. Every time I tried to run away and hide, you were there to find me. When I left things behind, you found them. You chased me. You are the reason. Oh, little one, my little one. Come with me. Your life is done. Forget the future. Forget the past. Life is over. Breathe your last. You got no idea who you're dealing with, do you? Ooh, but you will. You will.
And that's what kickstarted the Uncle Howdy storyline. His first feud after coming back was with LA Knight, which eventually led to them having a match at the 2023 Royal Rumble. In an interview with Ryan Satin, Wyatt would say that The Fiend died at WrestleMania 37, seemingly shutting down any opportunity for him to return. At first I was saddened after hearing this, since The Fiend was my favorite incarnation of Bray Wyatt, but eventually, I came to accept a very valuable lesson I learned from a YouTuber, that it's okay to let certain things stay in the past, to preserve them as a relic of history for generations to revisit, admire, and learn from, not to drag them out like corpses and puppet them around for anyone's selfish desires, because nothing good ever comes of doing that. It was later revealed in the Bray Wyatt Becoming Immortal documentary that The Fiend was planned to return, but that's beside the point. I was only happy that Windham Rotunda came back home. LA Knight vs Bray Wyatt in a Mountain Dew Pitch Black match was a pretty good way Windham could have returned to singles competition. Minus the WWE house shows. As almost everyone knows what happened, this was a fitting swan song not only for Bray Wyatt, but for Windham Rotunda as well, at least on television. Bobby Lashley would be revealed as Wyatt's next opponent. I was both very interested and also very nervous. Would Bray Wyatt triumph over him, or would he get screwed over by the company once again? Considering what happened at the last WrestleMania he was in, it was only natural that I would be curious to see who would emerge victorious. Nevertheless, I was willing to give their feud a chance with an open mind, skeptical, but still excited to see how it was going to play out. However, it wasn't meant to be. Shortly after, Windham was taken off WWE programming due to contracting an illness. It was later revealed he was suffering from heart issues that worsened when he contracted COVID-19, and he sadly passed away on August 24, 2023 at the age of 36. I was devastated, and I don't blame anyone who feels or felt the same way. I still cry sometimes, but more often than not, his passing doesn't hurt anymore. It burns. I'm furious. It's one thing to lose your favorite wrestler of all time, but to put yourself in his family's shoes, who lost not just a son, but a father too? That's heartbreaking. Windham Rotunda created a legacy that will be cherished and admired for years to come. His character work was amazing, and I didn't realize how much I loved what he created until he was gone. He saved my life and helped me get through some of the toughest periods of my life. Ultimately, that is why I love his character so much. And it pains me to know that I never got to tell him how much he meant to me despite not being a family member or friend of his. John Cena may have meant far more to me at a much younger age since he was the one who got me passionate about wrestling in the first place. But Bray Wyatt was the one wrestler who got me passionate about wrestling again and the heart of storytelling. Because of Windham, I will follow the buzzards, I let him into my life, and I will revel in what I am until the day I die. Before I end this video, I just want to say this. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, you are awful. Just awful. No words can ever fully describe the contempt I feel for you. Aside from the obvious, I will never forgive you for the number of times you screwed not just Windham, but his fans over. You eviscerated characters who meant the world to Bray Wyatt fans like myself and insulted us in the process. You took us for granted and didn't think twice to shatter our souls. You didn't stop to think about the number of lives you potentially destroyed in doing so. I hope the fortune and glory were worth it, Mr. McMahon, because you can't possibly tarnish his legacy any more than you already have. And you should, honest to God, be be ashamed of yourself then, now, and forever. You are a disgrace to not just Bray Wyatt fans, but wrestling fans in general. I hope you're willing to live with that for the rest of your life, because there is absolutely nothing that excuses and ever will excuse anything you've done. You greedy, soulless pig. Triple H, please don't screw over the Wyatt Six. Don't make the same mistakes your father-in-law made with anything related to Bray Wyatt. I'm sure he would be proud of his brother for continuing his legacy. I'm rooting for you, Taylor. Thank you for the memories, Windham Rotunda. I love you.